The second thing I want to talk about is education. Okay, education, like I said in the first part, knowing who you are, finding out who you are. And sometimes we going to college, we tend to change our majors, especially in our sophomore year. So in your 20s, like I said before, get to know who you are. And once you know who you are, now you will start going to the, you start pursuing the right degrees, that will help you to get to be in the state where God wants you to be. Okay, your education. And I believe for most of us, we finish our first degree at the age 22. At 22. So I'm going to say by age 29 you should at least get a master's, because if you finish your first degree at 22 and you even took a break, to work and see what you wanted to do before you pursued your master's, at least by 29 you should have a master's degree. You should have a master's degree. But some of us didn't start school early. Some of us, we started going to college maybe at age 22, 23. So for you, but at least by your 30, 31, 32, you should at least have a master's. That's if you want to, or that's if your destiny requires it, or that's if it will actually help advance your career, So try to get your master's before you, before you hit like 32 or something. Yeah, try to get your masters, because as we know, the world is changing. The world is changing, and a lot of careers, and a lot of fields, they don't really regard bachelors like it used to be anymore. So at least try to get that your masters by 30, 31, 32. But I would really recommend, if you're the type that went finish your first degree at age 22, I would recommend that you get your masters at least by age 29. If you even took time off to work, or you even change your career. If you, let's say, you finished your first degree like English, and maybe you even went to get another bachelor's, it may be like what you call it, it may be like business, at least by age 29. I'm assuming you should be able to get your master's, even if you went to school back to back, with three different degrees, you should get your master's by age 29. So that's one thing that I recommend, trying to get that master's, because now a lot of fields don't really regard bachelors. So the next thing that I have is starting your first full-time job. Well, it might not be true for a lot of us that are in our 20s, because me personally, when I was doing my first degree in the summer, I did work full time. But I guess that doesn't really, it was a seasonal job, but it was still full time. So I kind of have an experience working 40 hours a week, but not for a whole year, in a way, I think, yeah, it's still right for me to say that getting your first full-time job, meaning like working throughout the whole year, 40 hours a week, it will be your first time. So, and this can be challenging, or it can be actually challenging, and also you can be happy, or you can actually, it can make your life miserable too, especially if you didn't get to know who you were. But if you got to know who you were, even though it might be a challenge, it will still be a challenge that you actually enjoying, and you're actually learning, and you're actually growing. So yeah, starting that first full-time job for the whole year, it can be exciting. But you need to you really need to know who you are, because if not, it can make you frustrated, like if you in a field that you don't like, and you're actually working in it like 5 days, oh my god, for 40 hours, it can make you go boom. So yes, make sure you get to know who you are before you get to this stage. And also pursue your hobbies and some of your goals. And I'm saying this because some of us, we have hobbies that can actually bring income. I see a lot of people that are in college, they do YouTube videos, if you're talented in something, pursue those things too, because those things probably don't require you to get a degree or something. So start pursuing them. And like, let me make this correction. A lot of people don't need education to be who they are. Okay, because the talent that they need, they just need to practice, and they're good to go, and they need prayers for people to get to know them, But still, education is important, because of the way the world is moving now. Everything is technology, everything is online and stuff like that. So if you have a foundation, like education and stuff like that, it will help you to blossom. So don't say them like, yo, God has called me to be a mechanic, God has called me to sell soaps, God has called me to be a hairdresser, God has called me to braid hair, so I'm not gonna go to school. At the end of the day, you will not know things that you're supposed to know, because you will not know, like, in fact, you can even open an online shop, you can't even do things because you don't have any educational background. So still, whether whatever you've been called to do doesn't require education or it requires education, it's important to get education. It is important to get education because sometimes the things that we've really been called to do, it takes time for us to get known. But if you have education and using that degree or something to work, for the meantime, you'll still be making some income as you're working towards the things that God has called you to do. You understand? So don't say them like, yo, God called me to be a head breeder. So in fact, being in school is a no. In fact, I'm not gonna waste my money and go to school. No, go to the school because you don't know what you're going to gain from that school. You don't know if through you working with that degree that you got is what God is going to use to, you know, get you to that standard that He has designed for you. So school is very important. And the next thing I have, and the goals, to pursue your goals, pursue those goals, hobbies, pursue them, because they all bring some sort of, even if they don't bring a lot of income, they bring something to the table, and you don't know where God is gonna take that then too. Okay, so pursue all your goals and your hobbies, the ones that you can at certain stages. Okay, and the next thing I have is settling down in marriage. Oh my God. So, like, to be honest, when you hit that 25, in fact, especially if you're a woman, when you hit that 25, you're not in any relationship, you don't have any serious person in your life like that, especially for women, 25, especially for women, you start questioning, well, God, what about sitting there waiting for? Especially if you've had that first degree, but God, what am I sitting there waiting for? So you start questioning yourself. You start questioning God, like, yo, I passed this 25, God, am I even going to settle down before my 30s? And you start thinking, in fact, and if you're not careful, you will get depressed and all that stuff. You get anxious, and it's not good for your health. 20s alone comes with a lot of problems, and marriage is some of the problems, especially for young women. I mean, for young men, I think probably they start talking about marriage and stuff like that in their 30s, but for a young woman, it's your mid-20s, especially when you don't have any man around you. I've been there. Okay, I've been 25, and I have had days where I have cried. Now that I'm 26, in fact, I don't even cry anymore. I'm like, you know what, God, you do whatever pleases you, just do it, because I know I'm going to get married before I get 30. Okay, just do whatever you want to do, but just remember me that, in fact, I'm not going to be single in 30. God forbid that one. So now I'm a bit chilled, but if you're here watching this video, you're probably 24, 25, especially in this your modern day, when you see, like, when you go on Instagram, you go on YouTube, you see all these pictures, videos of people and their weddings. You tend, it's not like even jealousy, it's not jealousy, yeah, you tend to say them like, God, when is it going to be my own turn? You are happy for these people, but like, God, when is it going to be my own turn? Just know that there are reasons why it might not be so for you, and just keep praying. Keep praying, keep praying, keep praying, keep praying. That's what I can say. So yes, the next thing that I have, okay, is renting like your first apartment, and also buying your first car with your own money. I'm not talking about financial aid money that you got from school, that you, when you move off campus, they give you. I'm not talking about your parents giving you money or giving you a brand new car. I'm talking about you yourself finding your first apartment with your money that you earn from your full-time job, buying your first car with the money that you earn from your full-time job. So yes, this stage in our lives, like I said, it can be exciting, it can be challenging, we can cry, like, come on, if you find out who you are, it can be exciting, especially when you get to know who you are. Going to school can be annoying, but it can be exciting as well. When you hit that 25 and you're not married, in fact, that's it, that one is crying matter. Okay, it's not annoying matter, that one is crying matter. When you get to finding that your first apartment, you get that your first car, is an exciting moment in your life. So in your 20s, it seems more like, in fact, like, it's like happy, sad, it's like you feel all sort of emotions going on. So when people need to actually understand who you are, like when you're in your 20s, and especially parents need to understand their children when they're in their 20s. There are sometimes, like, in fact, they don't want to talk to you. There are sometimes they get excited, and sometimes they get so annoyed by you. Understand that, okay? Because you yourself, when you're in your 20s, understand that, because 20s is a very challenging decade. Okay, that whole 10 years is challenging. Okay, it's challenging. It's really challenging. It's so challenging. That's what I said in the first one. We need to know God. We need to know God, because when we know Him and He has given us a direction on, how to live our lives, even though it can be challenging, we can still sleep and be like, God, you're the one that told me to do this. Okay, I will just calm down. I mean, you have a reason for telling me to do so and so thing, you know. So yes, so I think I'll end this one here because it's almost 10 minutes, and I will continue to part 3. Okay, so yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe though, okay, if you have not done so already.